podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started. Today we interview Shatara Oliver. Shatara is an author and coach. Shatara coaches women who need help developing their self-confidence. She also helps women to realize their inner greatness. This is a good one, y'all. Sit back and enjoy.
Shatara, tell us about your book, The Magic of Getting Uncomfortable, 8 Strategies to Help You Forgive Yourself and Others While Setting Boundaries to Elevate Confidence. What was your motivation to write a book, and where can it be purchased? I just can't even imagine the discipline that
I know, right?
I just, I bow to you, madam. I'm telling you.
Listen, it was not my intention to write a book. So that's the very first thing that I tell people, that it was never my intention to write a book. But I do believe that when God gives you a gift and a purpose, you have to step into it, no matter how uncomfortable it may feel. So if you look on the front cover, you will see a cactus in the middle of that chair. So when you try to sit in that chair, it's not going to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So that I meant to do that on purpose, right?
Wow.
So here's the thing. My first year of college, entering college, it was a very uncomfortable season because you're going through the transition of being away from home. You're being away from your parents. But you also hear people say, you go to college to find yourself. You find another version of yourself, right? It's the best 4 years. I can tell you that those 4 years that I experienced college was the most uncomfortable years too, as well. And people don't tell you about that. During that process, I discovered that I was molested at a young age, and I blocked it out that it happened.
Wow.
So, with entering the first year of college, when you're going through the season and you're hearing your friends, they're dating different guys and they want, go date different guys, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it, but it doesn't feel like a sense of happiness. It doesn't feel like that's me. So you're trying to fit in with the crowd and compare yourself to other people. And you're in the age of social media too. Right? So you're seeing constantly influencers and different people in that area. And you're like, I got to be like this. I have to dress like this. I have to wear weave. I can't wear my natural hair out. I don't feel pretty. All of the above. And it took me to literally lay down on the floor and like cry. My sophomore year of college, a year of went back from freshman year, cry. God, why am I like this? Why am I not finding the motivation of a class? I know I'm supposed to be here. I know you didn't bring me this far to leave me. So what is going on with me? I went to therapy in the past, but I didn't feel comfortable around my therapist because they tried to tell me how I should feel. And that was a big shut off from me. So I never want to go back. But something in me was like, you got to go back. So I reached out to counseling on campus, and it was life-changing.
Wow.
And from there, I had to be honest with myself and say, why am I going to counseling? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And it requires a level of honesty. So that's where that motivation of that book came from, because there's another young woman that's sitting in her 20s, early 20s, that's going through that exact same thing and feeling like people that wouldn't understand or that she wouldn't be heard. And I wanted to provide strategies to confront that anxiety and sit in how you feel, because we're taught, I can't speak for you all, but for me, I thought that if I went to therapy, I was weak. I thought that
Well, that's in our community. It's almost learned that that's the way it's viewed, and it's discouraged, and there is a stigma attached to it.
Yes, it's a big stigma, and I'm like, come on now. If you need it, it makes you feel like, as a Black woman, it makes you feel like I'm supposed to have all of this together. But no,
Yeah,
you're
that's
not.
right. That's
You're
right.
not going to have everything
Yeah,
Right.
together.
that's right. That's
That's
right.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
just getting
That is
that
absolutely true.
comfortable to feel like, you know what, I need help. I
Yeah.
need help,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to be honest with myself, and I need to sit in how I feel.
Right.
So
Right.
that
Well,
was the
well, I have
most
to tell you,
about it.
Wow.
thank you so much for being honest and sharing that. Because I have to tell you, people need to understand that the brain is so powerful that if something traumatic happens to you, and I
Mhm.
used to do counseling, the brain will block that out to protect you,
Yes. Mhm.
because the pain is too much, it's intense, and it will block it out. But the reality is that you are walking around with that, and you have to work through that for the healing to occur. And I'm also thankful that you shared about your disappointment with
Mhm.
your first counselor, because people also need to hear that if it doesn't work, don't discount the
That's right.
practice. Find the one that works for you.
Yes.
And yeah, and there may be someone that for whatever reason, yours
Mhm.
was that your counselor was telling you how to feel instead of
Mhm.
helping you process what you were feeling. And
Mhm.
so what happens is you find one that you cannot connect with for whatever reason. But please, folks, hear what our guest today is saying, because it's important information. Look for the next one, because
Yes.
when we need help, there is nothing to be ashamed of. It does not mean that we're weak. It means we're strong,
That's
because we
right.
are
That's right.
fighting for our best selves. So thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing that. Yeah.
No, no. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's important for all of us to stick together as well. We would do
Absolutely.
Right.
more together than apart.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, takes a
Yeah.
village.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Shatara, you talked about the fact that you discovered the trauma that you'd
Mhm.
experienced earlier on in life, and you talked about the stigma that comes with counseling. So, thinking of those, keeping those two in mind with this next question, what information can you offer our listeners to help them regain their confidence after they have suffered some type of trauma?
Yes. Thank you for asking me that. The
Mm-hmm.
very first thing that I would
Mm-hmm.
say is very similar to what you all just stated. It starts with your
Mm-hmm.
mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts
Mm-hmm.
with you
Mm-hmm.
making the decision, right? Once you make it's just like forgiveness. Once you make the decision, I'm going to forgive, that's it. It starts with your mind. You have to get into a
Yeah.
place where you're saying, you know what, enough is enough.
Right.
Something has to change.
Right.
Not for my mom,
Mm-hmm.
not for my dad, not for siblings, not for anybody else. Something in me is not right, and it has to change. So, number one, it
Mm-hmm.
starts with your mindset. Number two, you got to get honest with yourself about why you're feeling the way that you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you sit here and you're in denial about what actually happened to you, because we block out trauma,
Mm-hmm.
we block it out all
Right.
the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Right.
have to get
Mm-hmm.
in that quiet spot, and that quiet, I like to call it sitting like in a prayer closet almost, away
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
everybody, away
Right.
from noise, away from
Right.
Mm-hmm.
distractions. You got to get real clear on what's going on with you,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, because if you're
Right.
living in denial, nobody can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have been the one
Right.
to go to counseling and not implement a thing from counseling
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
to say
Mm-hmm.
that I went.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Right.
all about that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
about it, right? Because it
Yeah.
sounds
Right.
good. It sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to counseling. Okay, so are you implementing the strategies from counseling? I would never forget. One of my counselors told me, you know what? Your task is to cry today. I looked at her like she was crazy. I said,
Mm-hmm.
you want me to
Mm-hmm.
do what?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to cry because you hold things in so much. Do you know it took me days to do that? because I was
Wow.
taught so long that if you express vulnerability, you're weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
Mm.
supposed to be strong. You're supposed
Yeah.
to keep it together. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to keep going.
Yeah.
And what if I can't
Mhm.
keep going?
Right.
Right? I'm like, okay, but I'm sitting here stuck. How am I supposed to keep going? I would tell them it starts with your mindset first and foremost. It starts with you being honest with yourself, and it starts with you expressing yourself and having not only boundaries with other people, but boundaries with yourself. For example, if
Good
you got
stuff.
that boss that keeps calling you and, well, you have to do this and you have to do that, is it in your job description? Will you get fired if you don't do this? Are you going above and beyond to prove a point? Where does that come from? Because a lot of stuff that we're occurring in our adulthood came from childhood. So
Absolutely.
you're operating not in
Mm.
a grown adult, but a childlike adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
That's so
just a
true.
big you're a big kid
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
more responsibility now.
Yeah. I
So
like that. I have to tell you, Shatira, when you we talked earlier about, the power of the mind and how it's so powerful it can block out trauma. But
yes.
on the flip side, when you said commit to forgiveness, in your
Ooh,
mind, make up the decision that this is what I am going to do.
yes.
Once you make that decision, is your
Mhm.
behavior, is your conversation, what you're doing, does that line up with the commitment that you made to forgive?
Yes.
Because that's what we have to do constantly when we make that decision. So I like that. When I looked at your information, there was a
Uh,
quote that you had, and it follows. I love this. I have to tell you, I
okay.
teach women to elevate their confidence by providing strategies to help put themselves first. Elevate their
Wow. Mhm.
confidence by providing strategies to help put themselves first. And that, again, we talked about the cultural implications. So many times we've been taught as African American women
Yes.
that that's selfish and you're only thinking about yourself when we do that. So I have to tell you, I love that. So your book talks about the magic of getting uncomfortable.
hmm
Why? Why is getting uncomfortable necessary as you walk through forgiveness? Why do you have to get uncomfortable?
Let me ask you something. I'm going to answer that with a question before I
Mm-hmm.
get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know when you can tell when God's trying to shift you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when what you used to do doesn't work anymore.
Girl,
Mm.
say that.
So now you're forced to get uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing. See, here's the thing about God, and like I quote Big Sean a lot. I talk to God in public because I know who created me. He is my father. I don't mind speaking of him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here is the thing: when you're walking in your purpose, or you're walking in a different calling, or you're walking in your healing process, He didn't say that it was going to be easy. He didn't say that it was going to be smooth sailing, but he told you where you needed to go. See, here's the thing: we tell God how we want it done our way because it's easier
Mhm.
for us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing about God: He will purposely make you get uncomfortable for you to get to where you need to go. Just like that cactus in that chair. Okay, you can sit in that same chair, but it's something in that chair now. Now I'm about to make you uncomfortable. Now I'm about to make you move, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the
And
thing.
you know what? And I mean, I'm guilty of this in my life, and I know other people can probably relate. It's amazing how we can be uncomfortable, and rather than addressing the issues, we make modifications to allow us to deal with being uncomfortable.
Yes,
We change all kinds of things rather than dealing with the issue
The
and
thing.
doing the hard work. Isn't
Oh
that
yeah.
something?
Right.
Yeah,
That is.
yeah,
Oh yeah. My
yeah.
go-to when I didn't want to deal with something, I changed my hair. Oh, it was gonna be a color. It was gonna be a cut. It
Yeah.
was I'm getting braids now.
Yeah,
I'm doing something.
yeah,
I ain't got to deal with this.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
That's
same
right.
thing.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
that is
right.
so.
That
That's
is
so
so.
true. So true.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what part does guilt play in stopping us from being able to forgive ourselves?
Yes. Thank you for that. Guilt plays a major role
Mhm.
because, see, here's the thing with healing and forgiving.
Uh huh.
How can I put it? Nope, I'm just going to just say it because we're going to have a real
Okay.
conversation. It is going to touch somebody.
Mhm.
Here's the thing with guilt, you're unlearning behavior that you learned from childhood. You are unlearning and breaking cycles of behavior that's been happening for years and years and
Mm-hmm.
years. Have you ever heard someone say, I forgave this person? And the very next day, I can't believe they did.
Mhm.
Or their name comes up in conversation. So, did you actually forgive?
Mhm.
Forgive.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you forgive you too?
Mhm.
Because we talk about forgiving others, but it is
Yeah,
power in forgiving yourself. And
yeah.
sometimes that
Mm-hmm.
guilt sets in because you feel like I should have known, but maybe you didn't know,
Mhm. Right,
right? And
right,
that's where that guilt comes from
right,
too. I
right.
should have known. I should have did better. Why didn't I know this?
Mhm.
It's my parents' fault. It was my environment. It's guilt. I treated this person this way because of guilt and trauma
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
I experienced in my childhood. And you're
Right,
feeling guilty, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know. You
right.
don't know what you
Right.
don't know.
That's right. That's right.
That's.
Prime
I,
example, I used to be a horrible communicator to my friends. Had no idea why.
mhm.
I would block, cut off at any given time.
Yeah.
And my block button was strong. But cut off, okay?
Yeah.
Because we're being transparent. I went and found out the root to that. My parents weren't good communicators in their
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
I didn't see them
Yeah.
communicate very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it passes on to you.
That's
And
right.
they're grown now. Like
Right.
they've grown. They're
Mm.
growing now.
Right.
But I was like, where did this come from? Block cut off until the person that I am currently dating who said, but I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Why are you cutting me off? I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And that shut down everything. I said, oh,
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
communication. I
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
work on
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it was Maya Angelou that said, I'm trying to remember her quote. I think she said, you have to forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know until you learned it. Because
Oh wow.
we carry a lot
Powerful.
of guilt because it's like, but I did this and I
Right.
did this. And it's like, really? But you didn't know
Yeah.
any better. She also says, when you learn better, you do better.
That's right.
You don't beat yourself up for what you didn't know when you didn't know it. But let's
Correct.
start with once you learn it, then you go from there and you forgive yourself for it. So I
That's
tell you.
right.
But talk to us a little bit about
This is some
setting
good stuff.
boundaries.
It is.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love
It
this.
is.
Love
Why is it essential to set boundaries?
Oh God. What type of way?
Because I love what you said earlier. We often talk about setting boundaries with others, but you talked about not only with others, set your boundaries with
But
yourself.
for
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I
I can
wrote
tell
that
you.
down.
Oh man, listen, listen. Boundaries are so important, and
Yeah.
I can't stress it enough. Let me tell you a story first
Mhm.
before I get into the question.
Okay.
One story in particular happened recently with my job. I went through something called depersonalization.
Mhm.
And the reason that I'm telling you this is because it's more common than what people think.
Mhm.
I went through something on my job called depersonalization. So, what that means is that I I could be sitting here having a conversation with you, and I would think that I had a vision in my head that I got up, walked outside, walked across the lawn, and I would have actually did it. And it causes you to forget things. So if you use the bathroom, if you clean the kitchen, if you're driving, you would zone out so fast you're forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
And that is due to burnout and anxiety. And where that came from was that I tried to take on too many tasks at one time. So that's why I talk about setting boundaries with yourself. Say no to you too. The same way that you say no to other people, say no to you too.
Wow.
Say no. Say no. I am not the friend to tell you to say yes to everything. I am very heavy on self-care. I'm very heavy on taking care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, nothing will work.
You know what? And that is just so true, because I tell you, I just read, I think it was a quote this week by Warren Buffett, and somebody asked him something like, what's one piece of advice that you would give? No, they said, I think the question was like, what do not just successful people, but really successful people, what is the common denominator among those groups? He said, they say no. He said, they say no. He said, they say no more than you ever think they say no. They say no. They're not even looking at your email. They don't feel guilty about it, because once they set their plan in place,
that's right.
If you're not a part of that plan, it's no. But for us, it's if you're not what you're seeking, if it's not in line with my purpose or what I said for that day is going to happen, it's a no. He said, I say no all the time. I don't feel guilty about it. It's a no. He said, I start with no. I start with it. I was like, okay, I get that. So yeah.
Before I take on anything, even with coming on this podcast, before I take on anything, if it's not in alignment to my purpose, or it's not into alignment to where God needs and wants me to be, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Without a blink of an eye,
I'm
not doing it. Because God always gives you a confirmation. If it doesn't feel right to you within, don't do it.
Yeah. Because people will drain your time, your effort, your energy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You have to set those boundaries.
They will drain you. And here's the thing with setting boundaries. You know why people have trouble setting these boundaries? Because they're people pleasers.
Yeah.
They people please. They don't want to disappoint. They don't want to disappoint anyone.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So yeah.
Well, I got some new practices for tomorrow when I get to work. I mean, for Monday when I get to work. No, that's not on my agenda today.
That's right. Say no.
Because so often with me at work, every day I have a plan for the day, right? But as soon as those emails start popping in, I'm off to chasing something else down. I have made someone else's issue my priority.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
But you said something really, you said something that really hit home to me. You're making someone else's issue your priority. Yeah. And let me tell you why it hit home. A lot of us get that phone call from our friend, our best friend we known from years, or that family member that always calls us on that the time, day, we're asleep at night. They want to talk about their relationship problems, what's going on with their kids. They want to have that conversation. And you know what? My boundary is not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
My boundary is setting a do not disturb at a certain time. Yeah. Because like I said, if you don't work, nothing will work. So if you're burning yourself out by somebody else's problem, you cannot go blame them.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
You got to turn a mirror on yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So since we're on boundaries, Can you offer some specific tips to help our listeners establish those boundaries?
Yes. You heard you heard one of them, and that was saying no.
Yeah.
Saying no.
Yeah.
Another strategy, and I know it's going to sound odd, is figuring out why you keep saying yes.
Wow.
It always circles back to the root. Why are you saying yes to everything?
That's important. Yeah, there.
Right.
Why? Why are you saying yes? Was it that in childhood you felt like you had to be everywhere? You had to do exactly what your parents said at this day and time, or you're going to be disrespectful. Where does that come from? Because a lot of it, like I said, comes from childhood experiences. A lot of it came from past relationships we've seen. You know what? I'm going to say, prime example, I'm going to say yes to everything, because if I say yes to everything, that's their way of me showing that I love them. They will know that I love them and I'm always there for them. But you're showing that you don't love you in the process.
Yes. Oh, wow.
That's right.
Girl,
that's right.
You
that's
are
right.
preaching today.
That's right.
You showing that you don't love you, and you're wondering why he can't love you.
Hello. Yeah. That's
right.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to go there.
But it's true. If you don't,
girl, I feel like you can drop the mic now.
Yeah. If you don't show people that you are a priority, why you expect to be a priority with them? How's that work? Yeah.
What they did. Wait a minute. Yeah. I know y'all seen this trend going on with the red flags that was all over social media, right? Yeah. But we have red flags within us too.
Yeah.
Right? If you keep saying yes to everything, if you keep having to, I'm just gonna pick it up. No, don't pick up the phone. Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. How do you practice self-care? We know you have a busy schedule. And so can you just, as a parting bit of information, can you share how you practice self-care?
Absolutely. It's going to sound weird. I know it is. My shower is self-care. And I'm going to tell you what I do in the shower. I would have on an Audible book. Currently, I'm reading Tabitha Brown, her book.
Oh, is it good? Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Wait. Amazing.
Her whole journey is amazing. But yeah.
Oh, my God. Amazing. I make sure let me go back. When I start my day, and my coach taught me this, set your intention for the day. That's a form of self-care. How do you know what you're going to get out of the day if you don't set your intention, set your word for the day, right? Say what you're grateful for. God, I thank you for waking me up this morning. I thank you I thank you for my health. Yeah. I thank you for giving me the mindset to keep going, because everything came from him. But that's one form. But another form is I love music. So what I'll do is at night, I get by myself. I'll out the door. I don't want anybody coming in because it's my time. I put on music I love. It reminds me of comfort. When I grew up, me and my dad bond over music. We still do. I'm a daddy's girl to my heart.
All right.
We bonded. My dad has the cassette tape still lined up. So I'm a daddy's girl to my heart. And I remember him playing New Edition or Mint Condition or listening to go-go music, live bands. Yeah. We always bonded over that. So I would put that music on purposely, light me some candles, meditate and visualize of where I want to be, and be thankful for where I currently am now.
That's right. Yeah.
And don't dwell on the past, because whatever happened.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, I tell you, you have dropped some good information. I can, and I'm sure Teresa agrees, we can feel your energy, your vibrancy. And we just thank you for sharing that, not only with us, but with our listeners. We just thank you. We wish you well as you continue on your journey.
Thank you. I have one more thing that I just want to share. Okay. You would never lose taking a chance on yourself. So regardless of what it looks like right now, you will never lose taking a chance on yourself. God put you at this particular spot. You're at this particular place for a reason. Maybe and it's only for a season. Maybe not for a lifetime. Hard times don't last. They don't. He's not going to put more on you than you can bear. So remember, when times get tight, when times get rough, and you feel like, when is God? When are you going to let me get to the other side? It's a reason why. Ask him for the lesson in that.
Yeah.
And learn and grow and keep on going. So that's what I had to say.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you so
thank you.
very much. Thank you for coming on Earrings Off.